to talk about The Mandalorian and why it's so special. The Mandalorian is a television show made by Disney. It was created by Dan Filoni and Jon Favreau. The story is based after the original Star Wars by George Lucas, so after Luke Skywalker saves the galaxy. The Mandalorian is played by Pedro Pascal. He plays the character Din Djarin. Din Djarin is a Mandalorian. Mandalorians are a member of a creed of great warriors. They've existed for thousands of years. They once had a powerful empire, but their home planet was destroyed and many of their people died. Mandalorians are rare to find now, but when you find one, they can be very useful. The stories told about Mandalorians have people believe that they are the greatest warriors in the galaxy. They are usually hired for bounty hunting jobs because they are very skilled fighters. Because they are so rare to find, they are very valuable to the highest bidder. Din Djarin is hired on a bounty. This bounty is very valuable. The reward for this is Beskar. Beskar is a type of metal, the strongest metal in the galaxy. With Beskar, Din Djarin could upgrade his armor to be stronger. But Din Djarin is not the only one hunting for this particular bounty. The entire galaxy is after it. This bounty is very valuable. Whoever succeeds at capturing it is rewarded very well. So eventually Din finds the location of this bounty, and what he discovers is a baby creature. People call this Baby Yoda, but this isn't actually Yoda. It's the same species, but this little creature's name is Grogu. By this time, Yoda is dead. Din sees this creature and he immediately falls in love with it. Everyone is looking for this target to kill it, but all he sees is a defenseless baby. He feels very protective over the child. During this time, the Empire strikes back for the second time, and they want the child. The baby has the power of the Force in its blood, so the Empire want to kill it and use its blood. It's unclear on how they want to use the blood, but I speculate that they want to use the blood to create an army of clones. This would make a very powerful army. Imagine if all the Empire soldiers had the power of the Force. They would be unstoppable. Din Djarin decides to take the child with him to keep it safe. The whole galaxy is hunting for this child, while Din Djarin acts as a protective father. This show has 2 seasons. Season 3 will be released in 2022, but for now we only have 2 seasons. Season 1 is more focused on introducing the characters and setting the tone of the show. Season 2 has a lot more action. The creators of the show really took their time showing us the open world of the Star Wars universe. That's what I like about Star Wars. When you're watching it, you're completely disconnected from reality. The fantasy elements of it are so far from our world that it completely lets you escape. Din Djarin travels around the galaxy trying to keep this child safe. And as he moves from place to place, there's dangers all around him. He's in danger from the bounty hunters trying to take the child away from him, and he's in danger from space travel. Every planet he goes to, he has to consider that there are other life forms that could potentially be predators. And every once in a while, we get these action sequences of Din confronting these dangers. There were times that he made deals with people. He would help them with their missions. In exchange, they would help him with his mission. He ran into some people that betrayed him in order to take the child, but he also ran into some good people that helped him. It's obvious that these scenes were used as filler, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It was done very creatively. In each scene, we learnt new information that pushed the story forward, and it all paid off in the end. Through these missions, we learn more about the mythology of the story. We get more information about the history of the Mandalorians, and Din Djarin learns about the Force and the Jedi Order. This child has a strong connection to the Force, and in order for him to master his powers, he needs to be trained. So he makes it his mission to find a Jedi that can train the child. By this time, the Jedi Order has fallen apart. There are not many Jedis left, so like the Mandalorians, Jedis are very rare to find. During his quest, we get some really good action sequences. The Mandalorian slays a giant sand dragon. This was shot in IMAX to give a more dramatic effect. The dragon filling up the entire screen shows the scale of how big this monster is. He barely escapes with his life from a cave of Krykna spiders. This scene had some horror in it, and I'm very afraid of spiders, so this gave me the creeps. It was interesting to see these different worlds and alien monsters. It was a mixture of fantasy and horror. The CGI and special effects were fantastic. The alien characters felt very lifelike. They had their own backstories which made you connect with them. They were nothing more than CGI animation, but the creators made you care about them as if they were real people. I found myself feeling so much affection for baby Grogu. All credits to the puppeteers. He behaved just like a human baby. And I think the creators of the show intended for that because we feel connected to things that resemble us. So seeing a little alien creature behaving just like a human baby triggers our instincts. And that's what happened to Din Djarin. He forms a deep connection to Grogu. We follow their journey together. It's just them two against the universe. Grogu sees Din Djarin as his protector. He imprints on Din. They bond together and it eventually develops into a father and son relationship. Regardless if they are from different species, Din loves Grogu as his son, and Grogu loves Din as his father. They live to protect each other. I cannot stress enough of how good the music is in this show. The theme of the show was composed by Ludwig Göransson. The song is very uplifting. It's made to represent the Mandalorian as a hero. The tone of it makes me think of the words strength, determination, hope. I really love the theme song. The original soundtracks used for the action scenes were quite euphoric. This show has a vibe of the Wild West. There's a lot of wandering through deserts, gun slaying, and bar fights. And there are some references to old Western movies. People compare The Mandalorian to Clint Eastwood. I also want to talk about the credit rolls. People don't often sit through credits because most of the time they are boring. It's just words imprinted on a black screen. Sometimes you will have movies that will put in the effort to make the credits interesting. And that's what this show did. At the end of each episode, they filled the background with concept art. It looked like fan art. It was really cool to see those amazing drawings. It made me sit through the entire credits in each episode. In the final episode of Season 2, the Mandalorian finds a Jedi. He completed his mission. It's revealed that the Jedi is Luke Skywalker. This was a special moment for a lot of the fans. Luke Skywalker's whole purpose was to become a Jedi, and we never really saw him become that in the original Star Wars. In this show, he looked confident and wise. This is the Luke Skywalker that the fans wanted to see. Honestly, I was happy to find out that the Jedi that is going to train the child, is Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker is legendary. This fits in well with his story arc. It just shows that Dan Filoni and Jon Favreau are true fans of the Star Wars franchise, and they cared about giving the fans what they wanted, which is to see our favourite heroes be heroes. In the end, Din Djarin gives away baby Grogu to Luke Skywalker. This moment was very emotional for the fans, including myself. Mandalorians have a sacred vow. Before anyone becomes a Mandalorian, they must swear a vow to never remove their helmet. They must never show their face to any living being. That is the rule. For most of his life, Din Djarin has never shown his face to anyone. The last time a person has seen his face was when he was a child. Din Djarin takes his vows very seriously, but he's willing to give that up in order to protect the child. In the second to last episode of season 2, baby Grogu is taken away by the Empire, and in order to rescue him, Din Djarin plans to break into one of their military bases. To get through the security, he has to scan his face. He has no choice but to do it. He shows his face, and now he can be tracked by facial recognition. His helmet is very sacred to him. Once his face is revealed, it's like seeing him naked. He feels vulnerable. It takes away his dignity. And the fact that he was willing to sacrifice his vows to rescue the child, it just proves that the child is more important to him than the vows. He would do anything to keep Grogu safe. Just before Luke Skywalker takes away the child, Grogu asks Din Djarin to show his face. Because he's going off to train to become a Jedi, this means they won't be seeing each other for a while, perhaps many years. At this point, Grogu has never seen Din Djarin's face. He has seen the sacrifices that Din Djarin has done to protect him. He has bonded with him like he was his father. He's only ever heard him talk through the helmet. He's curious to see what his face looks like. We are sentient beings, and the way we bond with each other is by recognizing familiar faces. Din Djarin does not hesitate. He removes his helmet to reveal his face to Grogu for the first time. This moment was very emotional. Everything that happened throughout the story led to this. We see their journey together. Din Djarin sacrifices everything he has for that child. Everything he does is for that child. He shows that he would die for Grogu, and it all paid off in the end. He completed his mission. He loves Grogu with all his heart, but now he must give him away. This may be the last time that they will ever see each other. We know that it won't be, but just in case, Din Djarin shows his face to Grogu, and they have an intimate moment where they just stare into each other's eyes with so much passion and affection. Grogu then leaves with Luke Skywalker, and we get a few shots of Din Djarin holding back tears, because for him it's as if his son is being taken away from him. A father and son are being separated, but he knows that this is for the best. There's so much love between them. This moment was so emotional. It was very special. This scene made a lot of the fans cry. I'm gonna be honest, I cried. I couldn't watch this scene properly. My emotions were so intense. I had to pause it. I took a break. I let my tears out. Then I went back to watching it again. I still couldn't control my emotions. I'm getting emotional of just talking about it right now. I think that this is Disney's best work. It didn't feel like it was made by Disney. I never thought that Star Wars would make me cry. but it did. It made me feel like a nerd. Jon Favreau and Dan Filoni revived Star Wars back to what it used to be. It's a story about a father and son fighting to survive in between the forces of good and evil. Nothing too complicated. They made the story very simple and easy to follow. It's just a fun watch. Pedro Pascal in his role as the Mandalorian is iconic. He is such a talented actor and he's charming. He brings life to all the characters he plays. The Mandalorian is first introduced as this mysterious, quiet bounty hunter who doesn't talk much and never shows his face. In the beginning, he's cold and a ruthless killer. And then suddenly, he finds this little creature and his life changes. He is no longer living for himself. He is now living for this other living being. This little baby changes him. He becomes a dad. He develops into a more friendly person. Pedro Pascal is perfect for this role. I can't see anyone better to play the Mandalorian. Even though we couldn't see his face for the most part, you could still connect to the character. Pedro Pascal used his voice and body language to represent the character's emotions so well. You could tell that he was still acting underneath that helmet. And whenever he did remove his helmet, it was good to see his facial expressions clearly. You realize that underneath that armor, he's just a man, a human being capable of compassion. The Mandalorian is one of my favorite shows. I am now a huge fan. This is Disney's best work, in my opinion. If you haven't yet watched the show, I highly recommend that you do, especially if you're a Star Wars fan. And it's been established that Baby Yoda is far cuter than Baby Groot. Don't at me. Thank you for watching.